Yo people, welcome. I don't know, it's the King Boss. Welcome back to Ron's Tech Hub, and this is the Hisense E78QTUK, and I've got the 43-inch version here. As a gamer, for the price, I think the features on this are actually unbeatable. I'm going to unbox it, set it up, test it with my PS5, my Series X, and my Nintendo Switch 2. Let's go. The front and back of the box has exactly the same information on there, so I'm not going to show the back. The side only has the name of the TV and the power efficiency, which is FE if anyone cares about that. On the left hand side is all that we have that's really noteworthy. On the right hand side is just the H for Hisense. They kept it super simple. So starting here, we have QLED. We have 144 Hz refresh rate, meaning that this supports HDMI 2.1, which at this price point again is crazy. We have Dolby Vision Atmos, and of course, as standard nowadays, this is a 4K HDR TV, so 3840 by 2160, 16 by 9 aspect ratio. To get the TV out, we have some tape running across the top here. So all I'm going to do is to tear this tape open, see what the foam is like, lift the TV out, put it on the box and try to screw the feet on. I bought this TV for £310. I also had a £20 Argos gift card, so it brought it down for £290 for me. And again, I needed a new TV for this whole YouTube stuff. I'm going to be doing some gaming stuff as well. And for the price and the fact that it comes with HDMI 2.1, I remember back in 2020 or 2021, when we bought the Series X and the PS5, I remember them buying the LG CX at the time. I remember the name of the TV because I did review one on this channel because one of my friends bought it. And I remember that TV being about £1,200 or £1,500 because it had HDMI 2.1. It was a 49-inch TV, so let's say a 50-inch TV. So for 7 more inches, that TV cost roughly 4 times as much as this, roughly 5 years ago. And now I'm buying this as basically a relatively cheap TV. For £310, I get HDMI 2.1. So I get a proper gaming TV for £300. I don't think that's a bad deal at all. I was gonna go for the 50-inch at first, but this room is quite small. It's only like 3 meters by 3.5 meters. This is the basement, so I'm like, let me go for the smaller one instead. So this is the 43-inch. I don't really have anyone that can help me at the moment, so I'm gonna have to do it by myself. So I'm gonna take the foam out first, actually. Let me try taking the foam out first. The TV is just there suspended. Put that there. And then I'm gonna pinch the sides, take the TV out, put the TV on its back on top of the box. I think that might make sense. I'm gonna put this foam back inside the box to try and give the box some support so that when I put the TV on there, the box doesn't sink too much. There we go. So inside the box, we have this bag, and we have the warranty stuff and the booklet stuff and all of that. So the only thing we really care about is the remote and the power cable. That's what the remote looks like. It does look a bit dated to me, but to be fair, I'm mainly going to be just going straight to those apps or controlling the apps from my phone, so it doesn't really matter that much. The one thing I'm looking for on here, which I can't seem to find, is a microphone port or a button that I press to activate. Oh, there is a button here to activate the microphone. Actually, I just saw it there. So it mentioned that it had Alexa built in, so I'm probably going to be using that quite a bit, or whatever other voice feature works with this. Pretty bland looking, but at the same time, it doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. Next, we have the typical UK power plug, and we do get 2 batteries in there as well, so you do have enough to make a start straight away. I'm going to try and fit the stand now, and all I did was I put the TV on its back. I made sure that the bottom of the TV is facing me, and I'm going to pull the TV towards the very edge of the box just so that the TV hangs off the box a tiny bit so I can put the stand down and have some room to screw it on. Again, the main thing you need to watch out for is where the notches and where the screw holes are. So for this one here on the right hand side of the TV, the screw holes were on the left hand side and the notch was on the right. The other side of the TV is going to have exactly the same thing. Screw holes on the left hand side, notch on the right. Alright, I'm going to put the TV up on the stand now, and I am that guy who likes to actually label every single plug and everything. I got this label maker for my birthday or Christmas 2 years ago, and I've been using it ever since. Good idea because I have so many plugs that it just makes sense to label everything. Had to use my ruler and my tape measure to make sure it's dead center, and I think I finally got it right. So now it's time to plug the power cable in. This is the TV at the back from the left hand side. This is the only way I could get to show it properly. So we have 2 USB ports directly at the top. I don't like the fact that these are right next to each other, which means that if I wanted to plug a memory stick in that's quite a thick one, it wouldn't work properly here. But you can get extension cables. Right underneath that we have an HDMI port. Right beside that we have the CI port. Next to it we have the headphone jack. two HDMI ports directly underneath that. We have both aerial connections here, a digital audio connection, and finally the Ethernet port. On the right hand side, we only have space for the power plug. Nothing else is on the right hand side. I do have to say this is quite a short cable. It's not even up to 2 meters long. And the power plug is only 1.5 meters long. Personally, I think these need to be at least 2 to 3 meters long because you never know where your plug is going to be. I'm lucky enough that every single wall in the basement has a plug on there, but if you don't have that, it's going to be an issue. My Nintendo Switch 2 dock is here. I'm going to plug that into HDMI 1 because that's the only one that does not support VRR, which is variable refresh rate. My PS5 and my Series X, I'm going to plug into HDMI's 2 and 3 because those do support VRR. And be careful when you get in the TV, please ensure that you get the Pro model. The Pro model is the one that has the 144 refresh rate. If you get the normal model, that's not the Pro, it only goes up to 60 Hz. Still a good TV, but obviously if you want the gaming features, you're going to want to go for the one that says Pro. And again, directly on the box, it actually says native 144 Hz game mode as well. That's quite important. All right, people, this is the moment of truth. Turning on the TV for the very first time. Let's see what comes up. Hisense logo comes up straight away. I'm almost certain that there are some updates for this TV, but again, I have no internet at the moment, so I'm not going to do the update yet. For now, I'm only going to be using the local services. Feels pretty responsive, but again, this is just the menu. So let's go to English. Oh, this is quite useful actually. Here it says step 1, scan the QR code to download the app and enable Bluetooth and connect to wireless LAN on the mobile device. Then I'll follow the instructions. So this is telling me straight away that if I download the app, I can link my TV to my Wi-Fi without having to do that silly thing where you use the remote to scroll across and type everything in. I'm going to skip that for now because again, I'm going to be running everything off Ethernet once my internet comes on Monday. It's now Saturday night. So I'm not going to be using that feature. If I do realize that that feature comes in handy later on, then I'll probably change over. But for now, I'm going to leave it as it is. Let's go to Start, Location UK. I'm not going to scan for any channels because I'm never going to use this TV for watching TV. This is essentially a monitor for gaming and maybe some YouTube stuff in the background while I'm filming my videos. These parental controls here cannot be skipped, so you have to go through it. It has quite a few options here to connect. What's really good is that I can go to the Wi-Fi. So this is my Wi-Fi here, for example. That's the mesh Wi-Fi system I have in the house, but again, it has no internet, so there's no point in doing that. I could also do WPS, so I can click on WPS on here, run to my router quickly, press the WPS button on there, and it should automatically just link up. And obviously Ethernet is going to be the preferred way for me because it's just going to be so much faster, so much more stable. But I'm going to skip this for now. Go to skip again. I'm not going to enter my postcode anywhere if I don't have to, so I'm going to skip that. And there we go, straight into the TV. I like to get onto the TV first, test out the HDMI ports and see if everything works all right. I'm going to turn my consoles on one at a time and see if the HDMI ports work and if everything is okay. The Nintendo Switch is the one here at the top because that's the one that does not have VRR. I don't think I need anything more than 60 for my Nintendo Switch. My PS5 and my Xbox are in the port down here, and those offer 144 Hz in game mode. So I'm going to leave them plugged in there. Alright, so as you can see here, it's now detecting everything okay. I'm not sure what was happening before, but the PS5 and the Switch 2 were mixed up. Turned the consoles off, turned them back on, and now it's working okay. So my Switch 2 is in HDMI 1 as I mentioned, my PS5 is in HDMI 2, and my Xbox Series X is in HDMI 3. It's obviously smart enough to know which console's plugged in, detect it and label it appropriately. I didn't have to do anything else. So I'm going to go to Switch 2 and I might have to resize the screen. No, everything showed up full screen is perfectly working okay. Everything there is fine. Let me go back to source again. Let me go over to, let's go to PS5. PS5 is probably going to need it. Yep, here we go. So I'm clicking OK and I'm resizing. Okay, I'm going to leave the HDR settings as they are for now. Yep, everything's okay on PS5. Went back to home. Let me go over now to Xbox and see if everything comes up okay. Yep, everything's working perfectly fine. As you notice, when I switch sources, it says here optimized for game settings. So this tells me once it detects it's a console, it might in some cases jump over straight away to game mode, which will use more power, but at the same time, it will give you much better performance. I think what I'm going to do is stop this video here, and in the next video, I'm going to plug in the Ethernet cable once my internet comes, do all the updates, see if there are any changes, and go in and tweak a few settings just to make sure everything is working okay. But in any case, thanks for watching. I think for £300 this is the best gaming TV you will get. They do have a 50-inch model, a 55-inch and a 65-inch model as well.